Well, let's stay on economy and take a look at a business sector in the U.S. that in the coming years could be, well, you could say flying high in more ways than one. That's the legal market for cannabis, of course also known as marijuana. On January 1st, recreational use of cannabis became legal in California, thus becoming one of 8 U.S. states, plus the District of Columbia, that have now legalized recreational use of marijuana or for medicinal purposes. Joining us to discuss the potential legal profit for investors in this business, our economy correspondent, Westropp-Evans. And from New York, we have Stephen Sarge Guilfoyle, president of the Sarge 986 trading operation. And Asher, let's start with you and talk about that vote in that was held earlier in California, but now becoming legal.
Exactly right, Kalev. And we can take a look here at the states that have, in fact, legalized marijuana. We've got 8 states plus the District of Columbia that now allow marijuana in some form or another as legal use for adults. This represents a massively growing industry. In 2017, approximately $7.97 billion, so just under $8 billion was spent on legal marijuana sales. And in 2018, with the boost of California, predicting over $10 billion, nearing $11 billion in recreational and medicinal marijuana sales.
So, some high numbers. And I remember from my time living in Colorado, the debate was really all the time about how much money is going to come in, what is the state going to do with it, and how to regulate the money once it comes in. It seems like it's been a success for many of those states.
Okay, Sarge, we see that this is a growing market. Are there opportunities here for investors to profit off it?
Well, sure. Almost all these stocks have been moving in the right direction over towards the end of December and here in the beginning of January. The obvious name is Scotts Miracle-Gro. That's the one everybody in the business anyway thinks of, but we're not a bunch of potheads. So you may have to ask some younger, crazier people about the penny stocks. But as far as the stocks that are investable, I did a lot of research. Now, Scotts Miracle-Gro is a little bit debt-laden. I'm not real excited about this stock. It's run up to about 109 in the marketplace. I like it more around 104, so that's not where I'm going to go. All right, I like a stock called, I got to look at my notes here, Kush Bottles. It's KSHB on your ticker. It's only about a $4.60 stock. It doesn't have a lot of debt. They don't grow pot, but they sell everything you need to have a good time, I guess, with pot. These guys are a possibility going forward. I like the stock a little cheaper, maybe around $325. I don't want to pay $460 because this is the chase, and you never want to chase a stock. You want to leg into a stock maybe on the way in. So that's one I would wait on. I also, in my research, found another name, which is not a recreational name, all right, but this stock is Corbus Pharma. It's an $8.60 stock, supports around $8. If $8.60 cracks, it probably goes to $10.50-ish or so, but it's got no revenue. It's got no debt, but it's got no revenue. So this is a bit of a dangerous play. All right, they have a stock drug, I should say, they're developing for use against sclerosis. It also might be useful against lupus, but it's still in clinical trials. So this is more of a play for somebody that might want to stay back and give it maybe a year or two to really take off. But you don't want to ask you,
Stephen, just on the big picture, to sort of one-on-one on how these companies works. Correct me if I'm wrong, but some of these companies can't actually write off their expenses on a federal level since this is not legal federally. What does that mean for those companies and people interested in investing in them?
Oh, that's a problem. I'm a businessman. I run my own business. I really do enjoy the benefits of writing off my expenses. And for the pot growers and the pot sellers, because it is a federal crime, they are not able to do that on the federal level, maybe on the state level in the 9 stocks where it's legal, or will be 9, I believe, once Massachusetts gets on board. But this is a problem for these stocks, and that's why, except for the 2 I just mentioned, that's why so many of them do build up so much debt. And unless revenue takes off, that's a problem. That's why I'm kind of giving you the stocks I would invest in. I run a portfolio. It's known as stocks under $10. I run it for the street. Now, these 2 names are in my bullpen. They're names I'm looking at. When they get to the right price, I'll pounce on them. But I would really caution investors who don't know the space to just take a shot on something they hear about on the internet. That's where you'll get hurt.
Okay, Sarge, stay with us, but I want to turn to Asher first on something that you had in one of your investors' notes today, which is about Amazon, a company that we see that has been on something of an acquisition binge, and they may have a new target in sight, Asher.
Yeah, precisely right, Caleb. And if we take a look at some of the acquisitions that Amazon has made in the last few years, big names like
acquisition.
Exactly, Kiva Systems, Twitch, Zappos, and the big mama of them all, Whole Foods Market, which they bought for a whopping $13.7 billion just last year. It's looking like, they're growing and considering, and there's now speculation growing among some analysts that their next focus might be Target.
Well, let me go to one of those analysts. Boy, Amazon, they are a hungry beast. Sarge, are they going to try to swallow Target next?
See, that's the rumor, and that's what the note yesterday that made the rounds around Wall Street told people. Now listen, I do have a dog in the fight. I am long Kohl's. I am long Amazon. I'm not long Target. I'm also long Walmart. I do not believe Target is the best target, so to speak, for Amazon. They sell groceries. Amazon just swallowed Whole Foods. They have measured against Kohl's. They're not so good on profit margins. They have a little tougher debt situation. I like that Amazon and Kohl's have already been getting together. Since October 18th, you've been able to return merchandise purchased on the Amazon website to Kohl's stores in Chicago and in Los Angeles. They also sell Amazon products there, so there's also already some cooperation. I believe, and this is why I own Kohl's, or one of the reasons anyway, and why I'll continue to own it. They also own a 4% dividend, so for you more conservative investors, it's also not a bad play there. But I believe for those reasons, this is the better play for Amazon if they decide to stick their toe in the water and get involved in physical retail.
Stephen, briefly, how good or bad is that for the consumer? Because when we hear about a company like Amazon gobbling up other companies, it sounds like a monopoly, but could it drive prices down? Is it good or bad for us?
It's good and bad for the consumer. It's good from the strict consumer because it will probably drive prices down and you'll be able to get your products for less. It's bad because it hurts jobs. It makes jobs less competitive. It takes away jobs on the retail level, which you might say retail jobs aren't so hot, but you know what? It's a huge sector for employment in this country. Many people, particularly those who are somewhat uneducated, end up in the retail sector. And if they get depressed further, that only increases the problems in this country and in others between the haves and the have-nots.
All right, Stephen Guilfoyle in New York, thanks very much for being with us. A little bit of what to watch going forward. Asher Westropp-Evans, thanks as always for being with us. We're going to watch those stocks, watch Amazon. I'm still waiting for Amazon's drone to deliver my Whole Foods groceries.
And remember, they're big in the media business, so
yeah.
I-24 News.
Original content there too, just like Netflix. 5 years down the line, it'll be interesting to see how many companies run the world, and I think we can probably count them on one hand.